So I'm here with PokerStars Pro Liv Boeree, and first of all I want to do 5 quick questions with you, if it's okay. Iron Maiden or AC/DC?
Iron Maiden, obviously.
EPT or the World Series?
EPT.
Tournaments or cash game?
Tournaments.
And Bahamas or Las Vegas?
Bahamas.
And the last one, winning another EPT as the first person ever, or winning a Triple Crown, if we don't look at the money?
Triple Crown.
Okay, so you have had a really successful career. You won the EPT San Remo 2010. Do you think that's people that have too high expectations on you poker pros that have won a large cash in your career?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, I think people are always going to have expectations. I have expectations of myself, and you know, you can always be disappointed if you have a bad year or whatever. But at the same time, you know, yeah, I mean, there have been times when people are like, oh, you know, when's the next big result? It's like, oh, I'm sorry, but it's almost impossible to win a big one every year, or even every two years, or even every 3 years. There's a few like outliers, you know, people like Jason and Vanessa Salps and so on, but they are truly outliers. That said, you know, there's still a reason why I can't and shouldn't keep trying and working hard. And you know, I quite like having that pressure because it makes you, you know, drives you forward.
You are obviously a very respected poker player, but sometimes you play in really tough fields with other well-known pros. What do you think are your biggest advantage as a poker player when you're playing against other experienced players?
I don't know if there is an advantage. I mean, one of my big advantages, I guess, in like a really tough field is that I actually know everybody. Usually that's one thing that can be handy, is that I'm often know them and I'm really good friends with them. You know, not to say that they would ever soft play me, but I have that, like, sometimes that psychological insight that perhaps other people wouldn't, because I know our dynamic, that I do know about the way they've played, we've probably discussed hands before and so on, so that can be an advantage sometimes.
You had a successful career in the poker TV before you became pro. Do you ever miss doing something else besides living as a traveling poker player?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's one thing for 2013 I'm going to be working on, is, you know, trying to work on my TV career. Movies, who knows, you know, like I want to try some other things. You know, I definitely feel like I've accomplished a lot in poker, and while I've obviously still got more to do, it's not my first and foremost goal to be, you know, a hardcore grinder, you know, to top the GPI. You know, it's just something that doesn't interest me. So you know, I want to try my hand at other things and see if I can, you know, succeed in other industries as well. And that's the beauty of poker, is it's not going anywhere. So it's still there for me to play, and I still love it. So, you know, I definitely don't see myself not ever going to tournaments, because I love the atmosphere. I love coming and playing, and you know, being with all my friends and so on. And you know, and I'm so lucky to be doing that.
Do you think it's getting harder to get motivation when you're sitting at the table, or is it still as fun playing poker?
And there are times when sometimes I'm just like, I don't want to play today. I just, you know, I'm not in the mood. And I think that is something that happens to a lot of poker players that maybe been on the circuit for 4 or 5 years. That initial like buzz that you get, you know, I remember when I played my first few main events, I'd get so nervous, so, you know, real butterflies each morning before playing. And I mean, now I just don't get that at all, and I actually miss that, because that can give you that extra drive that sometimes you need. So yeah, it's like 6 of one, half dozen the other, really.
How long before do you decide what tournaments to play? How long in advance do you plan your life? Usually, I mean, probably like a month or two. I mean, I know, like I knew I'd be coming to PCA obviously a year ago. Some events I know more than others. Some I just like last minute. But I don't know, 2 months. You are in a relationship with another successful poker player, Kevin McPhee. Do you plan your tours together, or do you?
Oh, yeah, I mean, obviously we try and you know, it makes sense just for both of us to try and go to the same events. That said, he wants to go to some and I want to go to others, and it's nice dating someone that understands that, that it's sort of a dynamic thing and that your mood can change, and you actually, I don't want to play it, you go, and just like understanding each other that way is very helpful.
How much poker do you talk at home?
It depends. Kevin likes to talk a lot more than I do. I'll be like, no, I'm sorry, I'm just not discussing this right now. But yeah, we talk. I can't quantify it for you, but we talk and I'm out.
Yep. I obviously work in the same industry as you, but on the other side of the field, and I can get pretty bored with talking poker with people who not play poker wants to ask all the time. Is it the same for you as a poker player?
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, it's infuriating, like family functions or whatever, and all they do, tell us about your last game, or how much did you win, or so on. And it's like, let's talk about something else, But you have to understand that, what we do is an interesting and fairly exotic industry to outsiders, and it's kind of our job to sell it to them and promote the game and raise people's understanding and awareness of it, and but yeah, it can get a little bit frustrating sometimes when I have a few times, like say I sit on a plane and I'm not in the mood to be talking to the person next to me and they're hell-bent to have a conversation with me, and they'll be like, so what do you do for a living? And I'll just be like, I'm a financial secretary, or I work in a pub, something like that. Just because if you say poker player, it's just like stars go off and they're like, yes, tell me more, and then you're just never getting away. So yeah, I've definitely come up with some, I challenge myself to come up with more and more mundane job titles when I don't want a conversation.
What do you think is the most common misunderstanding about poker and poker pros amongst people who don't play poker?
Most common misunderstanding that they're just degenerate gamblers or whatever. I mean, that's often the thing. Well, the most annoying one, they're like, oh, cool, so how do you learn how to count cards? It's like, I'm like, I learned in school. I just give them a stupid answer, or be like, what are cards? Or that's the most annoying question actually. Oh yeah, so like, how can you teach me to count cards? Sure. It's 1, 2, there you go.
Now we're entering the main event tomorrow. If you should have a early bust, which we hope you don't have, but if how much do you plan to play a lot of poker here, or do you more of a vacation?
I haven't decided, to be honest. I'll see how I feel. I'm sure I'll play some side events. Hopefully I won't be able to. So I really haven't decided. I mean, it's such a good schedule. I'm sure there'll be 1 or 2.
Okay, I really hope I'll see you at the end of the week in the main event.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I hope so too. Thank you.